Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Plat Winston. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. So, running our Winston.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Was Diva with a Moira Bap. Okay.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
It's not amazing. There's things that could get you here in such a way that you would be punished, namely Tracer. For using that last leap, I'm saying. This is fine, but close the angle on his backline. Not exactly. Okay, so yes, exactly where you are is right. Exactly where you are is right. You don't need to keep walking forward on this. You don't need to keep walking forward on this. You're just giving his backline a chance to shoot you. You are perfectly fine zapping him from here. You don't need to keep walking at him and give them an easier angle to shoot at you from. They shoot at you when you do that. So that's not really useful. And the reason that's not really useful is this isn't yet a credible distraction for your team. You have the right idea. Zapping people from high ground as Winston is really powerful. It's good. We like it. If you zap from high ground right now, do you have a Tracer over here that's going to come in? Let's actually go with your actual teammates. So if you zap from high ground right now, do you have a Reaper that's going to shoot people from here? Do you have a Torb that is going to shoot people from here? Do you have a Torb that is going to shoot people from here while you're zapping from here? Do you have a BAP that is going to maybe shoot people from here while you zap from here? This isn't really a good, credible distraction when you do it because you effectively just went, hey, let me trade half my health or whatever to distract opponents for a second and do maybe 60 damage to 2 opponents. And this isn't a useful second because it's not a second that my teammates are really likely to do much during. Winston buys relatively small just engagement windows for his team, but they're pretty explosive in their power. Like he's going, okay, my distraction is maybe short term, but it's very powerful. And it is pretty darn powerful. But if your team isn't in a position to take advantage during, when you do things that are very explosively powerful in terms of their distraction level, you're going to spend a lot of health. And then when your teammates do things, you either won't have enough health to support them, or your supports will be busy healing you up, which means they're not offering their support to your teammate who's doing something. So is this like with the fire strikes where it isn't worth it if you take more than you get with the zaps? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, no. Because the fire strikes aren't I'm doing this fire strike to bait attention to me to do this. Winston is perfectly fine to go, hey, I traded out my bubble and 300 life for 4 seconds of distracting 3 or 4 people because I wasn't just distracting them. I was keeping the squishies at a health threshold where my Tracer could just clean them up, where my Ashe could body shot them, where my Genji could just dash through them and get a limb after a limb after a limb. Like, he's doing a little more. When Winston is doing his, hey, I'm going to keep people low, if Winston does, I'm keeping a couple squishies at half health, let's say Winston is keeping 2 squishies at half health and mildly tickling a tank with his zap, even if he takes a bunch of damage in return and uses his bubble in return, that enabled a good 2, 3, 4 second window where any of his DPS they don't have to pop off, they don't have to be like, ooh, boom, mercy boosted headshot, etc. They just need to do expected standard contribution, and they can't help but get eliminations. That's not really what's going on with fire strikes. You could make an argument that, oh no, I hit the fire strike, so the person's at half health, and they're shooting at me, so they're not shooting at my buddy, so it should be easy to eliminate them. But where you throw fire strikes from tends to be such a case of, no, that's not really true. Plus, Winston, when he's doing the zap from above type stuff, has some level of cover, some level of protection that he can back into, kind of like a fire strike. Whereas if you were doing a fire strike in the open, that you don't have that option. If you're doing the fire strike from cover, well, then we're not having this discussion because you're doing it right and you're not worried about trading your health. You shouldn't be trading a bunch of health when you do that. So I'd say not really, though I see how you got there.
The objective is active.
Okay. Little sloppy with the Tesla ammo, but you control it. Just zap the Mercy. Yeah, there you go. Why? I'm not worried about anything they're doing to you. Like, I may slightly worried if she goes to sleep you, but I'm really not too worried about this yet. For the personal bubble. That's what I'm saying why to. Okay. Now, if you're fighting her, yeah, because she's definitely going to sleep you here. Or try to. It's a mechanical issue. You wanted to block Anna heals? Okay. So, let's go back here. Yeah, this is okay, but if you're doing this to block Anna heals, I expect you to jump on and finish this Mercy. Like, if you're blocking Anna heals, I don't expect your team to take either of these tanks down. I don't expect your team to take either of these down. If we did this to go, hey, no, Anna can't do anything now, this Mercy just used Guardian Angel, is missing a little health, we're jumping on this and trying to finish this Mercy, if that was what we were doing. Okay, they're done. There's nothing you can do. This isn't really how you'd go to make space here. So, generally what you do here is you wouldn't just drop this bubble to try to help them. What you do is you jump over and land on this, and then end up bubbling from here, and then having the option to drop behind. This just gets destroyed immediately, and quite frankly is a I don't even want to be here situation. Like, this is you pretending, this is you role-playing Reinhardt as Winston, and we just can't do it. Like, you don't have a Zarya to even help you go, hey, double bubble role-play type stuff. Like, you're just trying to do hard role-play with Reinhardt right now. Hop up, even if it's on this, it gives you a little bit of protection by being up here, and zap them from here. That's going to do way more to relieve for your team if you're trying to relieve pressure with this bubble.
This will protect us.
Good. This is going to be a little dicey, but you've got Primal. You just cap him in the bubble. Cap him in the bubble. Okay. Good.
This will protect us.
Yeah, Primal. You're just going to hold it. That's fine. No! No, 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 no. Okay. So, this is fine. You do that.
This will protect us.
You hit this. Okay. You did this, and now you have to make a decision. If you want this McCree elimination, and this McCree has spent some of his serious resources here, you can Primal. This fight is still potentially at a place, based on the info you have, where you can justify, nope, I'm going to Primal and just eliminate this McCree. Totally legit if you want to do that. No longer legit. No longer legit to invest Primal in this fight. This fight is over. You saw another person went down, and your window to go, hey, I'm going to punish this person, etc., is almost certainly gone. People are coming back to peel. No. No longer valid. So we have to be aware of the status. We're not trying to use Primal. We want to get this. If this is a habit, we want to kick it, and we'll see. We don't want to use primal to go, oh, let me try to like save it, especially when they have point control. But even if they didn't, we don't generally want to be using primal to go, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save my life. Obviously, you can use primal to save your life. You can use primal like, okay, I'm not going to get eliminated by this pulse bomb, etc. But we want to be looking hard for opportunities to use primal as an offensive ult, as an aggressive ult, as something that we do work with. So like to get this McCree limb, and we want to try to get less primals that are about saving our life, though sometimes saving your life is going to be fine. Don't look at kill feed enough. It's hard to keep track of it all. It definitely is. So it's definitely hard to keep track of it all. So what I'd recommend is you start it with a habit. You start it with a habit of, I'm going to intentionally look at the feed once every 30 seconds, or I'm going to intentionally look at the feed once every 15 seconds, something like that, just to like try to mentally do it. Or the instant a team fight ends, I'm going to look at the feed, and I'm also going to try to look at the feed at least once in the team fight. Like you sort of get there. Or every time I go behind cover, I want to look at the feed. You sort of would need to work it into your system. Like it's not something that if you just ignore it, you'll eventually start paying attention to it and eventually be good at tracking it. You do have to invest a little bit of effort into trying to actively pay attention to it, and then it just gets easier and easier to pay attention to. But you do need to start somewhere. So if you haven't started somewhere, just make it a, I'm going to check it once per team fight thing. Or make it a, I'm going to check it twice per team fight. Or I'm going to check it every 15 seconds. Something along those lines. Every second time I use jump pack, I'm going to check the feed. Something along those lines just to get yourselves to start looking at it. Excellent, excellent. I mean, since we are using this primal, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's too many people peeling for this. So the right play is to go deep and look for, can we get this Rhine off the edge? Can we get the Nano Rhine off the edge? That would be certainly nice. It's going to be hard. You have a leap. You've still got some time left. You overleapt this. And then you knocked him back this way. And again, I was perfectly happy to end my leap like here and look for, can I knock him this way? Because I'm not worried about him getting my team, especially with this lamp here. I want to knock him this way to get him towards this where he's going to be very unhappy. That's what I'm thinking about. But, hey. And even if you don't get him off the edge, you're going to get him like here when your primal ends, and he's going to be like, I don't want to be separated from my team. You guys have this giant concave on me. My team is mostly back here with one person up here. I am in trouble up here, even if I don't go off the edge.
Pardon me. Meteor strike.
Okay. It's fine. You're perfectly fine to bubble. You're perfectly fine to try to bubble to block this, like take your step and bubble, because you're already in a position where you're perfectly happy to be rooted by your bubble, because you will have opportunities to zap these people here. Why are you backing up? Oh, you don't have bubble quite yet. That's why. Got it. Okay. So here you go. You're pushing this. You're doing this. You jumped on the McCree without this. I need to rewind because I need to see what your jump trigger was. What? You have no idea if he has flash or not. Why are you just jumping at a McCree that's looking at you with no idea if he has flash or not? You've got your team here, but you can't follow him in. Okay. No. No. Like, you could justify the jump because you've also got your teammate looking right at him, but then following him in here, you don't have like a Zarya bubble, you don't have Diva with you. You've done your job. Leave. No. You can't do this, especially without bubble. But you jumped on a McCree without bubble. Oh. Yeah. Good. Okay. This isn't how we use Winston Bubble. This Winston Bubble is doing very little value. The Reinhardt swing is hurting the bubble. The Tesla zap is hurting the bubble, and these aren't protecting against them. This punch is going to be like, oh, scary. Like, this isn't where we want this bubble at all. We're much more interested in, I'm going to jump behind back here and zap you, and then maybe I'll bubble back here. Or, you know, even a, hey, I'll jump up over here. Or even a, like, even if you went, no, I'm going to challenge here, directly invite this McCree and bubble, and then wrap around the corner to protect myself. Like, all of those are better than just these choke bubbles that you've dropped twice now. We don't like these choke bubbles. Yes, I know you have a window going. We still don't like these choke bubbles. Now you're not very useful for the next 10 seconds. So that you could role play as Reinhardt. And unsurprisingly, once your bubble's broken, they're perfectly happy to push you.
Through the miracle of science. It's high tide.
Reload? No? Interesting. Why? Your team's not going to push. There's a high noon going. Like, your team is not going to support this push. They have a high noon going that's clearly stopping your team. Your team is back here. Your team is back here. There's just no way. Like, there's no way you can take this engage at all. I see that you're short on time. I don't care. You can delay longer. And you want to delay longer because delaying longer gets you, hey, I'll have more spawns that are closer. This is fine.
I appear to it.
It's fine. Okay. Are you calling his anchoring? If you know who's anchoring, you can do way better stuff. Like, if you knew who was anchoring, you could have jumped over at the Anna here earlier, if you guys are communicating that. If you know who's anchoring, you can jump over on this Anna when she's here or here. You don't, and now that the Anna's come on to the point, you want to go on the Anna, not on the Winston. But if you knew who was anchoring before, if you guys were communicating that, you could do it. And if you're not communicating that, you can shout that you'll anchor, so your teammates know. They have a little more freedom to go after people. Because if you all try to anchor, you're not going to win the fight. And if no one communicates, usually what happens is you all try to anchor.
Enemies re-engaging.
Drop the bubble. Drop the bubble. Good. It's fine.
This is not your time. My servants never die. I'm taking the objective. Convert.
Good.
Group up here.
Contact.
Should be okay. You got purple. Unfortunate. Yeah, so this is one of these situations where I see how this is going. I'm still not worried that you've been purpled. I'm still not really worried. I'm looking at this and I'm going, we're okay. We're pretty okay. You go here. I'm ready to primal. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I bet we can get value. Okay, so you go here. I don't necessarily want you hard retreating, because if you hard retreat, yeah. And now you get shattered, and that's unfortunate. This is one of those you want to pull the trigger before they do type things, and there's value that you could go get right now. But here we go. And now this is just a defensive point stall primal. And that's not good enough because you guys are at 25 and they're at 99. And defensive point stall primals really aren't very good in general, but they will occasionally happen out of necessity, like right here. If you could have found a chance to go, hey, I'm going to break them up so that, during their Valk, no, I keep some of them out, I split them. They're trying to push because they're Valking, and I go, no, I knock a few of you away. Or I force a backline elimination because 4 of you are going forward, and I get that. That would have been fantastic. That's what you want to actively be looking for with your primal. Okay. Good.
Barrier activated.
I thought round was over. Tank partner can't decide what he wants to play. I was changing up my playstyle because it feels like my comp is slow. Is your comp particularly slow? Sort of? Not really? Okay. I'm going to criticize your melee cancel. It doesn't actually matter. Oh, why is it way better that time? Okay. Why, when I paused it every second, did it not show it that way? You guys see that, right? Like, when I pause spammed it, his melee is effectively hidden, but when I don't, that's really weird. Okay. But in the real replay, your melee, and this is mostly aesthetics. Weird. Now it's gone. Whatever.
You have my thanks. Damage output increased.
Like my team won't be able to help if I go offensively, so I want them to come and do us, then I can primal. So the thing is, they were already pushing offensively, and what you wanted to do, yes, you don't want to end up in a situation where you go primal in 1v6. You don't want that situation. But there was a window to go, I'm going to primal, their Doomfist is already in, they're already doing stuff, they're already pushing hard, they're already trying to push, that they've effectively committed on your team, and they're not really going to be able to change their mind. And quite frankly, some of them are going to ignore even if there are calls to change their mind because their Valk is going. So like you're in this situation where you're going, now I can disrupt it. They're going to push anyways, and it'll end up in a I'm pulling 2, I'm pulling 3, and my team is 5v whatevering the rest of them because they're going to push whatever. There was a window for that we were looking for. Well, you're perfectly happy with Primal to 1v2. You're willing to 1v3 with Primal. But you need to do it when, yes, your teams are engaged. This didn't have to be a your team could push the people that you were primaling. This is a you split the team. Like the team is trying to push into you, so your team is already fighting them, and you jump past the front line and send the back line further back type primal. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, exactly. You got it. You got it. No. We're still not going to use bubbles like this. We're still not going to do this. You are now going to be a relatively low value Winston for the next 13 seconds because you've tried to do your best Reinhardt impersonation when there's not really a good reason for you to be here to be doing this. You can use leap to leave. That's fine with me. That's totally fine with me. You can use leap to go over here. You can use leap to leave. Like, is this some play where you're going, I'm going to distract them hard so that my Reaper can TP in and get 30 ult charge and blossom? Like, I'm not sure what's going on here, but this is not a way that we really want to use bubble. Like, this is a Reinhardt thing. This isn't what we do. Our bubble lets us exist in places where we turn them around, where we turn their attention away from our front line. We don't go, oh, hey, I stand here to protect my team. We go, I stand here to protect my team. I stand here to protect my team, and my bubble lets me do that a little. That's way more powerful. Occasionally, we'll do something here where our bubble is splitting their team, but we're not doing bubbles in front of their entire team, with very rare exceptions, because our bubbles just get blown up instantly if all of them get to focus on them, which they do in this situation.
My servants never die.
Firing platform Winston. That's, yeah.
The pain.
Okay.
Barrier activated.
Did you... No, you hit the reload button. Why?
Activated.
Oh, that's a fat finger that you did not want. You hit the reload button at 88 ammo. That should have been easy to pick up another limb there. Just drop. Okay. I was gonna say just drop for the mega and come back up with leap, but that works. What should he do here? What should he do where? I don't know, blah. I don't know where you said that. If you mean when he was standing in the corner here, it was go down for the mega and then hop back up. If you mean here, it was eliminate the Mercy by not reloading at 88 ammo. Like, he did his reload up in the air, and then he came down and dropped his bubble and could have zapped people, but instead reloaded again. I don't know what you're talking about. If not drop the bubble before... Oh, leave. Back when he was at the choke here, the answer was just to leave. He can leap back to here. He can leap back to here. Winston is like, I'll take a soft engage here. I'll take a soft engage here. I'll take a soft engage here. Like, Winston doesn't go, oh, let me face tank you. Winston is happy to go, nope, I'll leap away. And even if you know I'm over here, me being here is going to give you pause on advancing, because if you advance to here, you know I'm going to come in on your back line. If you stay there, you're worried I'm going to come around like that. He's more threatening actually over here than standing here with his face at the opponents. Oh, yes, this would be, he wouldn't actually do this. I was talking about how to use his bubble, but no, he would not have jumped. He would not have, in the situation we're talking about, he would not have actually done this. He would have just used his leap to leave. But his leap is on a 5-second cooldown. His bubble is on a, more than twice that cooldown. So we're looking at this and going, hey, just leap out, and then on your next bubble, you might hit a split. When their front line is in, you might go, okay, now I'm leaping over your front line and doing this. Or now I'm circling back in and doing this. Or now I'm leaping in or walking in from here and zapping your back line with my bubble, and then I have leap to get out. Those are what he'd do. You have Primal. How are you going to use it? Okay, I don't care about the ball. It's not your job. I do care about not getting... are you going to use it? No, you're just going to let yourself get flashed. Okay. Ash is free. Melee weaving. You want to melee weave against this Zarya to preserve your clip. She's very easy. She's at the correct distance for you to melee weave, and she's a very easy to hit target. You're not going to miss. It preserves your clip so that you get to last longer with your clip so that your total DPS goes up. It's not more actual DPS unless it's against armor, but it makes your clip last longer so you hit less reloads. And it does the same amount of damage per second as your Tesla against non-armored targets. It does more against armored. Okay, and then there's your primal.
Score 1-0.
I always put monkey bubble down and then walk out of it to pursue and feel dumb about it. I get it. I get it. You do have to remember that the monkey bubble is sort of a root. Sort of like we talk about how soldier station, healing station roots you a little bit. Monkey bubble roots you probably to a more extreme degree. So that's why it's pretty common to try to surf after a monkey jump to get a little further or try to greet it a little bit. Or why the Zarya bubble can be so powerful, because your monkey has the bubble when they land, which gives them even just a moment to move past where they landed before they have to drop their bubble, which can be pretty powerful in terms of how it works with his time to kill and all that. I've been trying to soften up Rhines and prevent myself from getting corner slept by Annas. Softening up Rhines isn't really that big a deal. Not getting corner slept by Annas is a big deal.
3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Like, remember, you softening up Ryan, he's got armor, which does a stupid amount of damage reduction to your Tesla, so it's not very efficient, and it's also just not very credible. Like, yes, you can stand above him and zap him sometimes, and you should if it's just free or if you're getting other people too, but without getting more into what exactly you've been working on, what spawned you to be working on that specifically, you're not really looking to soften up their Rhine before the engage. You are, I mean, you can if there's nothing better to do, but you are looking to go, hey, how can I get what we were talking about at the beginning, which is how can I get a cleave on multiple squishies where I keep them in low health situations for multiple seconds without getting myself eliminated. That's sort of your holy grail of Winston.
I can use some assistance. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sorry. You're still playing with Mercy Brig. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. So this is like you fully trying to solo the Anna when I don't think your team is going to do anything. Your Reaper's certainly not going to do anything. Your Pharah doesn't look like she's ready to do much. I don't think this is going to be super useful. Like, if you're trying to go, I want to practice dueling Annas, I want to practice 1v1ing Annas, good for you, that's cool. But if you're not strictly trying to practice 1v1ing Annas, this is early. Your team just isn't going to be able to do anything. And really, before you use leaps to engage, you want to take a quick appraisal of, I can see my teammates through walls. Are they in positions to do anything? And the answer is not really. Good block.
Barrier activated.
Okay, so you zoned her, which is cool if your team can fight, but it looks to me like it's mostly three of you. It's going to be, no, it's really just two, because you can't go after them. It's really just your Pharah and your Hog with yikes. And then your Brig being wrong. Okay. You can leave it or okay.
I'm planning my dive on the point.
This will protect us. Thanks.
I'm going to live with that. No, I don't care about this Reinhardt. Like, I don't care about this Reinhardt. I'm looking for what else can I do. And I've got 7 seconds on my bubble because I used it here. And I understand why you used it here. It was available about half a second before your leap. So you're like, bubble, bubble, bubble. Please let me last long enough to get to my leap. I do understand. But like, I don't care about this. I don't want to go out here to fight this. I would actually rather enforce an angle than try to push a Reinhardt that I just don't do very much damage to at all, especially when there's bubbles. I just don't want to be here. Like, I really don't. And as Winston, I'm going, I can't take this fight. I'm backing up, even if I have to use leap. Like, you walked into this, but I'm backing up, and I might go, hey, I'm holding from up here, and I'm going to let the Reinhardt walk past and walk into my backline who will kite him while I go after their backline again. Like, you do not want to be tank trading with Reinhardt. Now you're up here, but your Mercy's had to be glued to you this whole time. And it is going to take your Mercy an eternity to get you back to a health where you can actually threaten their backline. This is way more value. What you're doing right now is way more value. It's risky because you're so low health, but it's way more value in terms of, okay, now my team will kite this Reinhardt. Are they still going to lose? Yes, but that's because your team was already massively behind in this fight. This is still the right thing to do. This is still not the right thing to do. Unless you get a call that he's really low, you don't need this. You don't need this at all. And you guys had point control and we're clearly going to lose this fight. So you might as well just go, nah, I'll go hide in here. Oh, they see me, I'll jump over here. Oh, they see me, I'll jump up here and then drop over here. Like, there's no reason to be here. You guys have point control. Don't run to the Rhine. Now he can engage on you. Yeah.
Damage output increased.
Let's get you back out of there.
Okay.
Heldensterben, my servants never die.
But why are we here? Why are we here? We've had plenty of time. We don't need to, we can't help our Reinhardt here. There's a very specific trick where you go, hey, I'm going to use my Winston bubble. Like, my Rhine is going to swing at their Rhine once or twice. I'm going to aggress with him. Then I'm going to drop my Winston bubble to deny their Rhine Ana heals, while my Rhine and I both, with our things that pierce through his shields, finish him off while the Ana can't heal him. There's a very specific trick for that you are not going to find very many opportunities to implement. Unless you're looking for this trick, it's past time for you to decide, am I going to go over here? Am I going to go up here just to make him think about me? Am I going to go up here to challenge these two? What am I going to do? You could go here. This would be the safest play. You could go here. This would probably be an annoying play to them and isn't terribly dangerous to you. Or you go here. This is probably the most dangerous play. Those are your three options. Staying here is not an option outside of a very niche thing that I don't think you're consciously trying to do. Yeah.
Reaper.
No. Your Rhine has his own shield to do that, and now you, for another 8 seconds, can't do any tricky stuff over here. Can't do any tricky stuff over here. You could still make a leap to here, which would be a better thing to do than what you're doing right now. Like, you could go here and then do, hey, I'm going to do a leap to here, and that's going to drag some of their attention. Some of them are going to want to look at me, going to want to deal with me as I play Ring Around the Rosie until I have my bubble back and until my team is actually ready to engage. But you didn't want to use your bubble how you did. This will be a big cleave. Your team's sort of there. Okay, you have Primal. I like it. You're going to get flashed. Now you're going to Primal. You're not going to Primal. Okay. Sorry, I'm used to damage coming in a lot faster on Winston.
Plat.
Okay. No, you hit that too early. You slammed Dan away. Good.
Hammer down!
You're leaping. You're already swinging. And you tried to hit her into the wall, and you probably got a little bit, maybe, of damage on her, but honestly, very minimal. If you got more than 10 damage on her from your landing, I'd be surprised. What you want to do with these, I do like that you tried to hit her into the wall to limit her movement a little bit more, but what you want to do with these is there's a timing that you hit, and you've got to practice for it, where you go, hey, I knock someone away. Maybe I leap at someone and I primal. Maybe I start by primaling when I'm on top of them because I've already used my regular leap and was zapping them. I knock them away. I leap to follow them. I leap to pursue. And really, just as they're landing, just after they've landed, I land on top of them. And I do want to get my landing damage. I do want to actually land before my hit connects. Now, you can start your swing a tiny bit early before you've landed, but you went ahead and hit your swing too early. So like you can do the I start my swing just a touch before I land type thing, but what you're really trying to do is you're trying to go, I hit you away, I jump, I land to get my damage, and then I swing, and I make sure I hit you as you're going away. So I already need to be looking at where you're going to get knocked to. I jump to land on you. My jump landing is going to knock you away. I'm already looking where you're going to get knocked away, and I'm hitting you with my swing there. So there's a very specific timing to get the full burst damage out of your primal. If you're just getting hits from primal, you're not getting landing damage, it is going to be a very underwhelming ult, and it is going to be hard to get eliminations with. If you get the landing damage and the swings, you are going to be a monster. Let's see if you do a better one. No, you're just holding the swing button. Okay, you're going to leap again. That's not very good. That's an overleap. That's just a mechanical issue. That's just a mechanical issue. And, okay, she's playing in your dead space and you're letting her because you pursued her when the correct option was to S key, like literally S key for a second and then S jump. Nope, nope, no, oof, it hurts. Okay, so you knew that she was playing in your dead zone and she was going to try that. So before your leap came off cooldown for the last moment, you wanted to stop pursuing and maybe even take a step back and then S-key jump to land on her and, then swing as you're landing on her. Like right before you land, you start your swing. So you land and she's get hits before your punch connects from the hit, your landing damage connects, your hit connects. Hopefully you throw her into here. But honestly, you shouldn't have to pursue again because both of those should have finished her. That's what you're looking to do. Yes, I know I'm getting very technical with your primal. If it doesn't make sense, let me know because I did get pretty technical here, but it is important. This ult goes from a pretty meh ult to, hey, this is like a B plus ult type thing. Like it goes from like a D minus to a B plus when you have primal control. I'm working on exactly this. Definitely needs practice. It takes so much poise. I cried at the overleap. Okay. So, yes, S jump does feel counterintuitive. So, yes, it does take practice. I'm glad you're working on it. My recommendation for working on it would be set up a custom game lobby with a bunch of different 200 HP heroes, preferably without a bunch of healing turned on because you don't want them to constantly be healing to mess up your timings because you want to get a feel for, I can use half of a primal to get someone. I can use a little more than a third of a primal to get someone, a 200 HP hero. So I would do that, turn up your ult gain, passive and active, turn up how long your primal lasts if you want. That's up to you. You don't have to. You can absolutely just make it so that you get it real fast and then have normal length primals because that'll get you trained on what is normal effectively there, which can be good. And then go spend like half an hour a week on it or half an hour a day on it. Probably half an hour. I don't know, maybe spend 2 hours trying to get it right, however you want to do that. Maybe that's half hour a week, maybe that's half hour a day, maybe that's 2 hours in one session, until you've sort of got it. You've at least consistently got the I land and then hit, and I get my landing damage, and I get my hit damage, and I get my hit damage before they've gone away, and I don't hit them before I get my landing damage. Get that, and then once you have that, you only need to practice it for like, I don't know. Once you've done like 2 hours of practice, you'll probably only need like 10 minutes a week to maintain it in custom games. Obviously, that's just a guideline. People are different. People need different amounts of training. But while it's reasonably hard, it is something that you can get, and the dedicated practice is mostly going to be better than trying to go, I'm going to spend 10 hours learning this. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. You just lost the mercy with your tracking there. Unfortunate.
The objective. Rally to my position.
Tango down.
Barrier active. Survival of the fittest.
I want those big primals, so I'm motivated. I hear ya. I hear ya. This is better. You're not just playing on main with your Reinhardt. This is better. You're on the angle. You being here is more annoying to them. See how annoyed their Zarya is by you being here? Just close the angle. Close the angle. She's not contributing to the front line. Your front line will win if she's not contributing to the front line. No, no, no. You don't need to fight him. You can just keep backing away. You being here, being annoying to him was enough. If your team is pushing, I suppose you can fight him. Okay.
This will protect us.
Time to leave. They just popped Valk. You're good. You can leave. Great. Wait for it. Don't get too aggressive. Okay. Yeah. Like, I get it. You felt like your Valk was a green light. It's Plat. It's low Plat. I'm not sure that your backline is going to follow in as aggressively as you need for you to make this play. You mostly need to go, hey, if you're going for their backline, you mostly need to go out when it's stupid easy for your team to follow up, or when the opponent's front line is already in. You sort of go, I don't trust my team. My windows are really small but explosive, so I need to make sure that my team is getting value during them. I'm going to go once the opposing Rhine has already started the fight, has already walked clearly into the open. Or once, a Doomfist is in, something like that.
Re-engaging.
All good. We just don't like reloads. We just don't like them. Okay. We still don't like. Okay. Sure. Who are you picking? It can't be McCree. You will never get McCree. There's a small chance that you will get Anna or Mercy. But not if you keep switching targets. Yeah. What? What should we doing? Are we dropping our bubble and fighting here? Or are we leaping and then dropping our bubble? Yeah. Your Reaper's sitting there going, am I supposed to get value out of this bubble? Should I dance with it? Okay.
Damage output increased.
Okay. Good. Bright idea. You opened that wider than you needed to, but at least you didn't lose much health. Is your team ready? Reinhardt's over here. Mercy's over here. Reaper's over here. We might not like it, but the answer is no, your team isn't ready. So the solution, unfortunately, can't be I'm going to drop in and push, because, again, you have very explosive and powerful engagement windows with Winston, but they're pretty short. I can pretty much guarantee your Reaper is not going to be useful for the entirety of your engagement window, and your Reinhardt's only going to be useful if he charges. So you can't take it. You just got to go, I guess I'll leap back to my team. I guess I'll leap over here. Like, you just got to go, I'm going to have to leave. You can't go in. You might wish you could go in, but you can't. Okay, but you could have done this without first spending your bubble and being useless for the next 10 seconds. You're not useless, you're just much lower value. Shouldn't I expect him to be ready by now? Sure, but you can see them through walls. Like, when you were retreating from the Zarya, you can check on your teammates through walls and actually see where they are and know that they're not. So yeah, you might expect them to be ready, but there's no reason that you shouldn't have the information that they're not. Yes, they're wrong, but you had the information to adapt to them being wrong. This is better. But you don't have your bubble yet. You're going to drop your bubble, you don't drop your bubble, you're in the middle of the opposing team and you don't drop your bubble. You're going to get pinned. Okay. You can't still be here. You need to go high ground. You can't. You can't be here. You just need to go high ground and go, I'm going to zap you guys from here. That's what you need to do. This is value while being lower risk to your life than where you are currently. Okay. So this took you all the way out where you can get healed, but now you don't do anything. You need to just find that sweet spot. This is fine. Okay. I'd prefer the Ana, but okay. It's a lot of wasted ammo.
Unfortunate.
Preventing your damage.
Weapon system optimized.
I mean, cool on the flashbang parry, so I can't give it like a 0 out of 10. But I don't need this. I don't need you to jump in here and bubble like this. You might be thinking I'm helping my Reaper, who has Wraith, get out. I don't need this. Now you're not going to have your bubble, and your bubble is a serious team engagement tool. And you weren't going to get a stagger here.
This will protect us.
Okay, well, you got both Zarya bubbles. So they probably won't punish your lack of bubble. You have to leave. Just leave. Oh, no! Mechanical issue cost you your bubble. Oh, it hurts. If you regularly find yourself playing from here, I don't want to say play Diva, because this isn't the right place to play Diva from either, but she's better from here than Winston in most situations. Ugh. Don't do this. And when I say don't do this, I just don't like you standing here Tesla zapping shotgun style from behind your Rhine. I understand why you're here now, but this isn't the first time this has happened.
My servants never die.
Good. You have 495 health. That's a little early to be dropping this bubble. Like, remember, the bubble leashes you, like we've talked about, and you're now leashed to this spot, and wouldn't it be nice to be able to walk a couple steps further and then bubble?
This will protect us.
Turn away. Don't look at him. You're not going to dive him. You're not. So just stick your butt in his face instead of your head. If you look at Winston from the back, It's much harder to hit your head hitbox than it is from the front. There's no chance that you need to aim a jump at him, so you can just be like, nope, and I'm going to walk away like this, and you're going to have to shoot me in the back instead of the face, because I don't want you getting crits. He sees you. Oh, but he missed. I mean, you could have been pretty scary if you were willing to enforce this, because if he tries to round the corner and fight you, you get to bubble and scoot out and get this, even if he gets you with the flash. You'd be hard to push here. You're much easier to push right here than you were on the corner. But you, like, changed your mind and didn't give it up? No, you are giving up. Oh, but our bubble. And with this bubble position, all we can do, we can't zap him. All we can do is zap a measly purple Reinhardt, which is better than a regular Reinhardt for zapping, but that's not what we wanted. I believe. You're going to Tesla. You got the nano. Yeah. I believe. Mechanical control issue. You're gonna do it. I know you are. I'm not even mad, but it's just so not high value.
Damage output increased.
This was your mistake, having to use bubble here. You had to use bubble here because you got seen here, which just happened. But you then wanted to enforce this. This would have been more expensive for them. They'd have had to invest more serious resources to come try to get you. You'd have 100% had health pack control, and they would not have been able to really deny that short of, well, I'm just going to roll in immediately. Okay, well, if you roll in immediately and get the health pack, I just don't care because you don't flash fan me immediately and you don't roll for the reload. So, like, this was the thing, and that would have been cool. You might have had to use your bubble. The fight evolves totally differently. Using your bubble here on the front line, I might point out. I know you really did it because you're worried about getting shot here. But having to use your bubble here on the front line rather than having it means that this fight goes completely differently. If you still have bubble, when you show up on the back line, you don't get slept to. You 180 faster. I'm making this part up. But you should 180 faster to continue zapping her. You not getting slapped means you get more value. You still get graphed. No problem. You're doing this. Not sure. Then we hit a better jump. Better control. Nope. She didn't move. She didn't out-juke us or anything. We just overjumped. And got 0 damage on her. Wrong Anna. Yeah, 0. Ouch. We're zapping. Totally fine. Yeah, and then we get this. You primal. Your primal is already half gone because you got pinned for it. Is there anything you can do with this? No, and so I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to be annoyed that we've used primal and nano and gotten basically nothing. You can't challenge a Valk-pocketed McCree. Your primal's half gone. What? What is this bubble? This is not a firing platform for your team. That's not how you use bubble. You can come out here and get healed, and you're not going to get healed to full. There's too much going on, but get healed back up to half, and then jump up here, and then zap these guys from above. That's what you could do. And then if the Zarya turns and starts shooting at you, you could go no and bubble. That's what you could do. Here, this is garbage. This is garbage. Your bubble is protecting the hard cover from damage. It hurts so much more in slow motion. I get it, man. I get it. Okay. Is your team ready? Is your team ready? Is your team ready? Almost? In a second, you're going to jump high ground? No, your team's ready. Your Reaper's here. You're going to jump high ground right now. Right now, you're going to jump high ground. It's going to be amazing. No, your Reaper's going to get eliminated because your engagement timing is wrong. You could say his engagement timing is wrong, but I don't care. I'm not critiquing him. And you're going to have to play off the reality of what your teammates are doing. You're going to have to see them with your eyeballs. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be mad. Leave. Purple, melee, good. That wasn't a very good leap. You know where she wants to go. She wants to back up. Your leap should be angled more in this way. You are your projectile that you're aiming. And projectiles lead opponents. Sort of helped her get out, which was the last thing you wanted to do. It forces to protect the hard cover. Hold on hard cover. Okay. Okay. I don't think you can get this aggressive. Okay. We're just taking high noons to the face now? Okay. Okay. It's disappointing. Obviously, there's multiple things we could have done here. I mean, we don't have to get hit by this high noon. This is very much a, are we just holding this cover? Are we just holding this? Is this what we're doing? Are we holding this so that when they walk in, we're behind them? I don't really like us here. I could settle for here. I'd prefer here. I could live with here too. This would be best. This would probably be your best of the options if you're convinced that people are coming this way. If you're convinced of that. Okay, so just scoot right. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. You're gonna get primal, good. That gives you shots. You no longer have shots. You no longer have shots. You no longer have shots! No, no, no. They have Valken duplicate going and you're down 2. It's just drop it. Just drop it. Hold primal for next fight. I know you think you're going to show up and next knock 4 people off. You're wrong. Okay. We'll deal. We'll deal. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I didn't realize that I'd let go of my Winston. Here we go. Gotta stall, though. It's important to do that when you're at 99%. Funny, funny. Okay. I don't love you advancing on the same path as your Reinhardt, but if you do this, it's okay. Okay. Good. Punish, punish. Good melee attempt. Fine. Good for me. Swap. Swap to the Mercy. Stay on the Mercy. You're okay. The leap, the finish. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Operating at optimal levels.
More of this last fight where you go, uh-huh. I'm going to take the high ground. I'm going to chill on the high ground until my leap is just about back. I'm going to threaten multiple squishies from above while my team pushes in, has an easy time getting eliminations. Oh, I'm going to drop over here trying to get it. I'm going to plant in the middle of the enemies with my bubble. I'm not going to keep shooting at the McCree. I'm going to stay on the Mercy, who's already low health. I see that there's an opening, so, I'm going to leap. I get the finish. I chained it into another elimination. Boom. That's how you play Winston. That's what you do. Okay, so that was good. Now make every fight look like that. I'm done. No, so really what we're going to have you do is we're going to make you have every fight look like that by changing a couple things. The first thing is we are not using our bubble in chokes. We are not using our bubble. Like, we're just not willing to do it. We're not really willing to go, I bubble and choke here. I bubble and choke here. I bubble and choke here. You can bubble to sustain yourself, but it's not actually a greedy bubble, because by bubbling to sustain yourself, what you've done is you've turned 3 or 4 people around to look at you. And they're looking at you, and that means it's so easy for your team to just go, I'm walking, and they're just going to, slowly walk their way in here and do whatever. That's what you're looking for. And it's also not greedy, because it's allowing you to, while your bubble's up and then with some of your health, pay to go, I'm just keeping a couple people at 100 HP, at 150 HP, at 80 HP, at 50 HP. You're just making it cake for any of your DPS to go, it's Plat. It's low Plat. I think I'm going to hit a shot now. I've missed the last 5. Oh, I hit a body shot and they're eliminated. That's weird. Usually that doesn't happen. And it's because you were pressuring them. And you found those 4 seconds when your teammate was likely to hit a shot. And your teammate was likely to hit a shot because, hey, they were in a position where they could do so. So we don't use our bubbles here, because then we can't do this as strongly. We can still go up here, and we should still go up here more often to zap people even when we don't have bubble, but we can make such stronger plays. Like, we can barely distract people. We can make them look at us for a second and immediately hide because we can't spend a bunch of health when we don't have bubble. When we have bubble, it's like, I can spend a bunch of health, or I do this, you guys don't pay enough attention to me, so I drop to go for the finish myself, and I have my bubble to let me to sustain. Or I zap you guys and you immediately walk away, so I drop and I have my bubble to let me actually hold this spot. That's what you're looking to do. We don't use our bubble in the choke. Like, get rid of that. Your bubble is not for being a Reinhardt. You are not a Reinhardt. Occasionally, you will hold a corner, but you'll notice Reinhardt might hold this corner if he was defending. You would hold this corner, because you don't want a Reinhardt to round into you and fight you. You want the Reinhardt to round the corner and push, and then you go, I get his backline. I zap his backline. You play with backlines. If it's Winston v. Winston, you could hold this corner and just be like, and you menacingly Tesla at each other and go, zap, etc. That could be fine. But you wouldn't hold this corner against a Reinhardt, and you're not trying to trade or hold corners really against a Reinhardt. You're trying to actually just let him walk past you, and then go walk in, preferably on his backline, and walk in them when they're looking away from you. That's what you're looking to do. You look to get on the backline. You either do that by hiding and walking at them, or you do that by jumping up to high ground above them and threatening them from there, where you have hard cover that you can use. We don't use our bubble to protect chokes. We don't use our bubble to protect hard cover. As much as we like hard cover, we don't as much as we might like hardcover, we don't need to protect it. It can protect us. Okay, so bubble, the biggest thing that I want you to understand, but really what that bubble is doing, we're changing the bubble, is to understand that we want to be playing with the backline. We don't want to play with their Reinhardt. We don't want to play with their, Diva, their Roadhog. We want to play with their backline, and we relieve a bunch of pressure for our team. We enable our team to potentially get eliminations. This is what we want. And to get this, we have to get our engagement timing right. So we go, where's my Reaper? My Reaper is really slow to set up. I'm going to have to factor that in. I'm going to have to check on him. And if he's not ready, rather than commit my bubble, rather than commit to this fight where I'm going to spend a ton of health, and my long bubble cooldown, I'm just going to leap out. I'm just going to leap out. That's what you do. I'd much rather you spend a 5-second cooldown and then have to restage than spend your bubble and health. Because if you spend your bubble, you can't engage seriously until that bubble's up again, and your team probably isn't going to be able to get you healed back up with everything else that is going on, or if they do, it's at the cost of not damage boosting your, teammate that's doing something. Well, the other Mercy is damage boosting their teammate that's doing something. So we want to be aware of that. I know I gave you 3 things that might all feel like the same thing, but they are really 3 distinct things, and they will lead to much better Winston. No bubbles and chokes. Bubbles are for you to sustain at off angles. Take your off angles, preferably high ground, but even if not high ground, if it's, hey, my Reinhardt is pressing through here, occasionally you'll use your Reinhardt as your staging ground to jump from, like you did here, but most of the time, if you have a Reinhardt going this way, you're looking to come in this way. If you have a ball going in this way, you're not looking to dive from the same direction, you're looking to dive from a different direction. You are perfectly happy to sneak up the flanks and dive, to sneak around and dive to the spots that you want to be threatening from. So bubble usage, take your angles, do your work from these high grounds, from these flanks, sneak into them, don't play with the other tanks, and then your third thing is going to be recognize these engagement timings. As a tank, recognizing engagement timings will be the most important thing for you that you work on forever on your way up. Obviously, we talked about primal mechanics. We could talk a little bit more about some of your ammo stuff. We could talk a little bit more about some of your leap mechanical control outside of primal. But really, those are the 3 things I want to give you. Your bubble placement usage, your understanding of come in from different angles, hold the high ground, that's what you're looking for, or threaten from the high ground, threaten from angles, etc., and your engagement timing. I hope those make sense. If you or anyone else has questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it, quite a lot. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, see about when things like interviews with other people in the scene come up, all that good stuff. Temporal's tank lessons mainly seem to be F your team, they can protect themselves. Well, sort of. I mean, it's sort of the like healers get into this thing where they go, let me rephrase this. Supports get into this thing where it's like, no, I'm a healer. And supports get into this thing where it's like, if I just run away, the flankers will leave me alone. Neither of which are true. Tanks get this thing where they go, and supports are also really big on the my teammates can't do any damage, which is less true than they think. They're just not recognizing proper times to give them discord and harmony value, proper times to damage boost them, proper times to anyway, doesn't matter. Tank set of myths is more around the idea of tank set of myths is more around the I need to protect my team. I need to tank for them. And you don't. What you do as a tank is you go, yeah, I'm gonna find a good engagement window, and I hope you guys will go in when we do that. But tanks are offensive, especially main tanks. We go, yeah, I don't care about you guys. Like protect you. Maybe my off tank has some peel ability. I'm gonna go do this thing where I threaten, and you guys can get eliminations off of it. Oh, you guys want to be protected? You guys will be protected by the opponents being distracted by my swinging my hammer. Oh, I'm Hammond. You want me to protect you? My version of protecting you is knocking the opponent all the way around so that, they get in slower and our team has more chances to shoot at it. If they still get to you after I knocked them around like that, that's on you. That's on you, etc. So yeah, tank's myth is like I need to protect the team. And the way you actually protect your team, swinging your hammer, zapping them from behind, playing angles that cause them to look at you, not let me stand here and be your firing platform. Temporal actually spent a few years as an improv actor on Broadway. Exactly. If you're from New York City, you may have seen him if he looks familiar to you. The enemy should have held more high ground. Yes, they should have. That's probably where it's from. In metal ranks, holding high ground is a strong throw. You just split yourself off from your team. Not exactly. I mean, we just showed how little Winston cared if his team took high ground. Like he was pushing in here, and it was just like, no, I'm good. And if you're referring to other people, like there's absolutely no reason that the McCree can't chill up here. There's little reason that the Ashe can't be doing her staging from up here. The Zarya can chill up here pretty fine too, in fact, and not be punished. The Reinhardt, you're right, is going to struggle to go, I'm sitting up here when my McCree is down here. That's not going to work. I agree. But if you're Reinhardt, because of other people's myths, since we just talked about tank and support myths, Overwatch players' myths are a lot of, oh, well, I'm just going to go where my Reinhardt is. And I'm not saying they'll always do it, but you'd be surprised how often they'll go, oh, I'll just go here because my Reinhardt's standing here. This is weird. But hey. But yes, you can't hold here if you're Reinhardt and your McCree goes here. And defensively, you just wouldn't hold here as Winston. Defensively, you'd be more interested in where can I stage to make it hard for them, where it's like, hey, do I go here? Do I just wait here so I can drop on their back line when they walk in? That could be a thing you could do. Or am I just waiting more of like a, hey, I'm here so I can zap them because they're going to try to dive past me onto my guys on high ground, and I'm going to then have access to their high ground. Things like that. Okay. I'm worried my team will get eliminated if I stage more aggressively, so I've been playing the front line in that dumb way. I get it, but that just becomes a better case of you getting your engagement timing down. Sometime is your team going to get eliminated because they just get picked off before your team is ready to go in, so you can't force the engage because your team isn't ready to follow up on an engage? Yes. But the better you get at recognizing exactly when your team is ready to go in for an engage, the less likely that's going to happen. And we've already talked about how much stronger your distraction is if you threaten the opponents from a different direction as opposed to if you try to just, like front tank for the team, especially against a Reinhardt. This is Plat, high ground is RNG. Roger. Butts and backlines, checks out. It's great. Thank you for the review. I'll work on that. Glad you got value. Absolutely glad you got value. We should clip out a 600-pound stealthy guerrilla tactic from your VOD and make it a standalone video. Yeah. Then we can refer people to it. Definitely. Must put the leash on ride and pulse her around the map. I played a game or 2 weeks ago where Reaper didn't engage and my shield kept breaking because he was missing 1 bar of health. Sounds about right. Did you tell him to shoot something to get it back? Okay. I think that's going to do it. And yeah, we're good. And that's probably going to do it for the night as well. Thanks, guys.